I want to ask about what the Pope has said, which is he has called your immigration actions inhumane. You pardoned former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez and let him out of prison, even though he was convicted in a massive international drug trafficking scheme.
I don't know him, and I know very little about him, other than people said it was like a Obama-Biden type setup.
Okay, we have to talk about this insane Trump Politico interview, so if you can, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. We're racing to 30,000 subscribers, and let's hop in with some very much needed fact checks.
You pardoned former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez and let him out of prison, even though he was convicted in a massive international drug trafficking scheme. How is that zero tolerance on drug trafficking?
Well, I don't know him, and I know very little about him, other than people said it was like a Obama-Biden type setup, where he was set up. He was the president of the country. The country deals in drugs like probably you could say that about every country. And because he was the president, they gave him like 45 years in prison. And there are many people fighting for Honduras, very good people that I know. And they think he was treated horribly, and they asked me to do it, and I said, I'll do it.
When I saw this the first time, I let out an audible gasp followed by an almost guttural laugh, because the only defense that these MAGA clowns could scramble and rush to for Trump doing this was it's some 4D geopolitical chess move, as they've masqueraded as the hard on drugs, hard on drug trafficking party. I mean, they're ultimately trying to justify war crimes on the grounds of just that, while of course labeling Democrats as pro-drug trafficking for being pro-immigrant, only for Trump to turn around and pardon this guy, which in his own words is because he believes he was also a victim of political persecution, the political persecution under Biden that was never proved, he couldn't provide any evidence for, and we now know didn't happen in comparison to what it actually looks like, as it's happening right now under Trump, and nothing similar happened under Biden. So the guy who told him, mind you, the guy who was convicted, found guilty of trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine into the US, something that kills thousands of Americans here each year, asked Trump for a pardon, and per Trump's words, he gave it to him.
But I do want to talk about the economy, sir, here at home, and I wonder what grade you would give your economy. A+.
Yeah, A++++++.
Funny, considering just this year, we've had a quarter of negative economic growth. We've had multiple consecutive months of manufacturing job loss. We've had abysmal job numbers in general, a month of under 100,000, months around 100,000. We've had rising unemployment, rising inflation. We've underperformed GDP numbers. The economy is growing at a slower rate than it did under Biden, of which Trump said was ruining our country and sending us to be a third world country. But now it's worse, but apparently A+. And wage growth has slowed to be much lower than the growth in inflation. Farmers are having to be bailed out billions of dollars because of Trump's failed trade policy. Literally, by every macroeconomic metric you could look at, the economy has taken a nosedive since Trump has taken over on it, yet his grade for himself is A++. We're so cooked.
I want to ask about what the Pope has said, which is he has called your immigration actions inhumane. Do you take that seriously from the Pope?
I haven't seen that. I mean, maybe he has. I mean, he also didn't like the wall. You know, they didn't like the wall. The wall
turned out to be
great.
Do you plan to meet or speak
You know, I
with
built
him?
the wall that stopped people from flooding, and I didn't put up the wall. I built the wall.
Not an answer to the question in any way. He didn't even try and just went on like a weird ramble and demanding credit for the wall, which he does get credit for. It was a demonstrable failure. He deserves all the credit for that, right? He built 52 new miles and then rebuilt a couple hundred miles of old border, a very small percent of the entire thing. I think it literally equates to like 1 or 2%. And again, walls historically do not stop immigration, and we should not want to stop immigration. But also what I want to focus on is like Catholics, the Catholic Church still defends the Spanish Inquisition, still defends the Crusades, which like, just look at the things that they did during those. For them to say what you're doing is inhumane, you know you're messing up for real, because they will justify some insidious things. But somehow, almost not surprisingly to me, this man still received the overwhelming amount of the religious vote.